Hey, from New Jersey, it's the SNL Nerds, the show where two comics from New Jersey nerd out about Saturday Night Live. I'm your co-host, John Trumbull.
And I'm your co-host, Darren Patterson.
Yeah! Ooh!
Yow! Yeah!
Ooh! Hoo, hoo, hoo! Ha!
Yeah!
Ha!
Feel it! Yeah! Thrust! It just sounds like we're doing pelvic thrust whilst we do that.
Yeah. I mean, that's how I spend the entire time we record our podcast. Just non-stop pelvic thrusts.
Yeah, you gotta feel it, man.
Yeah, I mean, people start to stare after a while, but I enjoy it, and that's what's really important.
They're staring because they're hypnotized by the pelvic thrust.
I guess so. We're getting off to a weird start.
We are, aren't we? We really are. All right, how you been, man? What's going on?
Doing all right. We're recording this episode a little early because you're going out of town for the weekend, so we had to do a little rescheduling.
Yeah, we had to shuffle some things around. We have very busy schedules. We're very important people.
We're in demand. We're in demand.
Forget about it. What are you talking about?
You know, Darren's got to go out of town.
Yeah, I'm on the run.
Yeah, so we're recording this on Thursday, the 20th of July, and you'll be hearing it the usual time on our usual Monday release date. But that's what we're doing, and we're just doing this in the interest of full transparency, just so you know. So if we're not commenting on that huge news story that happened over the weekend, that's why.
That's right, because we're in the past now, baby. And that's right. In the future.
We're coming to you there in the future. Hi, 5 days in the future. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Wait, what's that? Oh, okay.
I'm talking to the people in the audience now.
Oh, I see. Okay, I thought you were talking to me.
No, because you're here in the past with me. It's like this weird, time bendy thing. And, weirdly, the movie that we're doing this week also takes place in the future, I think. Maybe?
In the not too distant future, 3000 AD.
Right, okay. But they played back. This week we're doing a movie called War Incorporated, starring Joan Cusack, Dan Aykroyd,
Marissa Tomei,
Hilary Duff, and it's a movie where John Cusack plays a professional killer. And you're saying, wait a minute, didn't you just do a movie where John Cusack is a professional killer that also stars Joan Cusack and Dan Aykroyd? And yes, we did. We did Grosse Pointe Blank last week.
Yeah, and if you listen to the episode, you realize that I think we mentioned this movie, and we kind of half-handedly or half-heartedly was like, maybe we should do an episode about that. So you, in real time, you saw us decide what movie we were going to do in the future, which is now. Right.
But for you, it's the past. So it's...
When will then be now?
Soon.
Okay.
So this movie, War Incorporated, it's from 2008, and people seem to regard it as an unofficial sequel to Grosse Pointe Blank because it's John Cusack playing a professional killer again. Joan Cusack is acting as a sort of assistant to him. Dan Aykroyd has a supporting role, but he's a former vice president instead of a fellow hitman.
Yeah, so it has those. It also has Bill Cusack, who was in both movies.
Right.
I guess they're yet another Cusack in the mix.
Yeah, another Cusack sibling. Yes, he plays a soldier who makes a delivery to John Cusack about halfway through the film.
Oh, that was him.
That was him. That was the guy with the dry cleaning.
Okay. Yeah, that was a weird scene.
That was a weird scene, yeah.
And Doug Dirth, who is in both movies.
I don't know who that is, and I don't know what he did in either one of these movies. But yes, I did see that on IMDb.
Right. So this movie came out May 23rd, 2008. I vaguely remember this movie coming out when it did, but of course I didn't see it. Had a budget of $10 million, grossed $1,296,184.
Okay, so not as much as the budget.
That's a no. Yeah. Directed by Joshua Seftel, who seems to primarily directs documentaries. I think this was like the first movie he did, and it's written by John Cusack, Mark Lehner, and Jeremy Pixar.
Yeah, John Cusack likes getting in on the writing of his movies.
Yeah, it shows in this one, like for sure.
I mean, there's a lot of political stuff in this
Mm.
movie. Well, hang on. Like, where do I have the summary of it? It was on Peacock. I watched this on Peacock.
Oh, I watched it
So
on the Roku channel.
yeah, it's on a few free places right now. And
Mm.
let's
For
see,
good
the
reason.
summary on Peacock TV says on assignment to kill an oil minister, a troubled hitman's problems multiply when he must organize a pop star's wedding to maintain his cover. Um, yeah, it's a funky movie.
It really is. I I think because all right, my main issue with it was you could tell John Cusack has a lot of thoughts about, like, the war and
Hmm.
corporations
Yeah,
and everything, and he really, like, this movie doesn't play it subtle. He really jams his message in your face, like, and
yeah,
almost to the detriment of the actual story of the movie.
and this is made in 2008, so it's the very tail end of the Bush years, the George W. Bush years, when we're still in like the long war in Afghanistan, or we're in Iraq, and we're all we got our thumbs in a lot of pies, I guess. And yeah, and it's got a lot about the military industrial complex, but it seems kind of muddled to me. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah. I mean, that's the main thing I thought about it too. Like, well, there was like two things I wasn't too wild about. Like, first of all, the way it's shot. Like,
yeah.
I'm no filmmaker. I thought the way it's shot was kind of muddy and grainy, but maybe that's what they were going for. But it
I
looks
think they
kind
were
of,
probably going for a cinema verite sort of thing, like a
yeah,
documentary thing. You said the director had done a lot of documentaries before this, so
yeah. I mean, it looked kind of ugly, and I don't know. There were also some like set designs that looked kind of cheap a little bit
uh huh,
too. But then again, that's, of course they had a budget of 10 mil, but
yeah,
I don't know. The look of it, I'm not too wild about. And also, I think, I mean, like I said before, like John Cusack, he has his ideas. He wants them in this movie, and a lot of the dialogue is very, very wordy. I guess. I mean, I'm
mm-hmm.
not saying like, it had to be dumbed down because, like, I'm no simpleton, sir. But like, there was a lot of kind of really fast, wordy, dense verbiage to sort of describe, like, his viewpoint on things, like, like the war and industrial complexes. Like, I'm sure there were things that kind of hinted at Halliburton too, and like, but like they
Mm-hmm.
use a lot of words to convey his thoughts, but I don't know, they kind of washed over me in some places.
Yeah. I was kind of the same. I honestly I had trouble following the plot in places. It gets very complex. We've got flashbacks along the way.
Oh yeah, yeah, the flight.
We're dealing with like a few different fictional countries and stuff, and it gets a little confusing. It gets kind of muddled.
Yeah, because like in the flashbacks, we find out that John Cusack's character Hauser, he was part of the CIA as an assassin, but he wanted to get out of the business, get out of the life, because he met a woman and he wants to settle down, have a kid. But
Right.
like his boss, played by Ben Kingsley, of all
Hmm.
people, won't let him go. And I don't know. What do you think of Ben Kingsley in this? I thought he was kind of wasted a little bit.
I mean, I thought he was all right. I don't. I wouldn't say it's making like full use of his talents. Um.
Yeah,
So.
like there were a bunch of times where he was just like he was kind of repeating out, Cusack's dialogue about, America and blah, blah, and, industrial complex and war, and it's just like really fast paced rat a tat tat like dialogue. I think I wrote down just word salad. Like there's so many words. He was saying so many things that it all just became like I didn't like. What are you talking about? I didn't understand like everything he was saying.
Yeah.
It was,
It's like
again,
you're listening to a manifesto.
it really is. I think we just watched John Cusack's manifesto. I think that's just what this movie was.
Yeah. So like John Cusack's character Brandhauser, he's sent to this country of Tarakistan. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly, and he's supposed to carry out a hit. And the Tarakistan is occupied by this U.S. corporation, Tamerlane, which is basically their Halliburton stand-in.
Right.
Um, and like when he first arrives in the country, we're seeing all these billboards and things going up for all these American products and stuff. Um, and but there's a Middle Eastern oil minister who kind of stands in the way of Tamerlane just coming into the country and doing whatever they want.
Right.
And
Right.
and Brandhauser is supposed to take this guy out, and then but his cover is he has to produce a trade show for Tamerlane while he's plotting the hit, and he's also like dragging his feet on the hit throughout the movie, much like in Grosse Point Blank. And at one point, there is a scene where Joan Cusack, as his assistant, is like, "You haven't done the hit yet. You haven't done the hit yet. What the f are you doing?"
Yeah, exactly. And
And I
this,
was like, "Oh, deja vu. This is really, in some ways, in moments, it feels like a remake of Grosse Point Blank, but." I mean, it's not certainly not as funny, and it's not as endearing as that movie was.
yeah, it's way more grim, and it has like a serious message. Like it's trying to be like political satire, like
Yeah,
something like like Don't Look Up or Wag the Dog or something like that. Or
yeah, I was. Yeah, it wants to be a wag the dog type political satire, but I don't think it works anywhere near as well as Wag the Dog did.
yeah, I agreed. And yeah, and like you said, how's John Cusack character Hauser is kind of dragging his feet because the job is getting to him, assassinating all these people, much like in Grosse Point Blank. But like
Hmm.
Hauser does this thing where he takes like shots of hot sauce, like with
Yeah,
really high Scoville levels, and that like kind of helps him with the pain.
yeah. So we've got like an episode of Hot Wings mixed into our movie here before
Yeah,
Hot Wings was a thing, because I don't think Hot Wings was around in 2008.
I'm pretty sure it wasn't. No.
And we have Marissa Tomei as a reporter, Natalie Hagelhusen, who's reporting on kind of the exploitation of the country,
Right. Exactly.
and Cusack likes her because hey, Marissa Tomei,
Hey,
um,
Marissa Tomei.
and but she of course wants nothing to do with him because she thinks he's awful and a bastard and all that. But despite that, she does sort of break down and gets to like him as the movie goes on.
Right. John
For
Cusack.
and I don't really get what Cusack does or did that wins her over. It's just kind of like, oh, we're on page 40 of the script. It's time for me to like you now.
Yeah, I mean, part of me thinks, well, maybe she's just pretending to like him just to pump information for
Yeah,
for her story, which kind of does happen in a way, but
yeah.
it's never like super clear.
It's not super clear. And the big climax of this trade show is going to be the wedding of this pop star that is played by Hilary Duff. She's playing a
Yeah.
character called Yannicka Babya,
Hmm.
and she's getting married to this important person in the country, and I don't have his name. Her fiance is Ukmife,
Yeah.
which I found out from reading the trivia on IMDb. It is uh, "fuck me" in Pig Latin. So
So high comedy, ladies and gentlemen, high comedy.
yeah, I'm going back and forth on if is that satirical or is that just stereotypical and racist. I
I
don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know. I'm not sure. Like we're kind of hitting different levels of satire throughout this whole movie. It felt like, some
Yeah.
scenes were going further than others.
Yeah, yeah, very much so. Like there was that one thing where Marissa Tomei's character Natalie goes on a journalist experience interactive ride,
Right?
and like everybody has to get implanted with like a chip to go
Yeah,
on the ride. And I was like, what is this? Like I
yeah.
don't know.
It
I don't know.
seems to almost be going into like science fiction satire. And the people there, like Marissa Tomei is like, no, I won't have the chip installed, and they're like, well, you won't get the full experience if we don't implant this chip into your brain, and she's like, no, I'm good.
Yeah, they were going for something. I just don't know what.
Yeah, yeah, and I don't. I feel like it's largely a fault of the movie, but also I felt like I wasn't entirely getting what they were going for.
Yeah, I mean that's the main thing. I mean, it seems like they have. these thoughts again, like about the war and the industrial complex, and
Hmm.
they're very heavy handed on it,
Yeah.
but at the same time, you don't quite know what they're trying to say.
Yeah, and
It's
I don't think they took the satire quite far enough into absurdity. If they'd had more stuff like the oh yes, the journalists must all be implanted with a chip. I feel like if the satire through the movie had been more at that level throughout, I think it would have worked better.
yeah, I would say so. It's just very kind of off and on, and but then like it's weird because they try to do like sort of I guess intelligent satire there, but then they have things like when Hilary Duff's character Yannicka Baby Yeah rehearses her big musical number for the wedding, and we see her song is "I Want to Blow You Up."
Right. Right.
Did you get that, John? Because
Yeah, I did get that. I did get that.
it's
And
blow you
yeah,
like
and she's doing like sort of suggestive moves, and she's got like a little like the head of a gas pump, and she's sort of
yeah because like
miming licking that and pretending doing various oral things
did,
with
did, did,
that. It's very suggestive.
do you get that, John? Because it's like fellatio, John. Did you get that?
Yeah, yeah.
It's like fellatio. You see.
And this is, I guess this must have been around the time that Hilary Duff was trying to break out of the teeny bopper image that she had for a long time and start doing more adult roles. So it was sort of like babies, because like she's somewhere in her 30s now, right?
Uh, she might be older. Like, how old?
I don't know. I don't know. Let me open up a page on Hillary Duff and see. She was born in '87, so she is 35. Nailed it. Boom.
Legal.
Yeah. What? Well, no, well, I knew she was legal. Jesus, what the hell?
I know. I know.
What the hell, man? I
Gotcha.
wasn't like that at all. I was just
Gotcha. Oh, good times.
um. So okay, so this was how many years ago was do that? So she was like in her early 20s at this point.
Okay, yeah. So it's like I'm a grown up now,
Yeah,
not a girl, not yet a woman, type of thing.
yeah.
Got it.
So she
Okay.
would have, yeah, she would have been 15 years younger. So yeah, so she would have been just about 20. So yeah, just around the time you're looking to break out of that teeny bopper
Right.
image.
No, absolutely, absolutely. Uh, yeah. So I mean, she's okay in this, I guess. But
She's fine. I don't, she's yeah, she's. I could see maybe another actress doing more in that role, but I think she's improved as an actress since then. I did watch the first season of How I Met Your Father, and I thought she was pretty good in that.
oh, okay.
I was a bit
No,
mixed on the show, but I thought she was good in it.
oh, that's cool. All right.
Um,
Yeah, no, I didn't get a chance to see that. But I will. All right, to say something positive about this movie, I will
okay,
admit, like the chemistry between Marissa Tomei and John Cusack, I think is very good. Like when they're together.
yeah, yeah, they're good together. I mean, they're no John Cusack and Minnie Driver, but I like them together, and
Yeah.
they're both actors I like, and like watching this movie, I was like, my God, Marissa Tomei, I don't think she has aged since this movie. She looks pretty much the same today.
Yeah. No, she's good. Drinks a lot of water. Moisturizes.
Yeah,
She has a
I think
regimen.
I think she is a Highlander or something. I don't. Yeah,
It's true. That might be
she's
it. She's taking souls.
yeah. I don't know what's going on, but yeah, whatever Marissa Tomei has got going on, we got to bottle that.
That's right. However souls you need to take, Marissa, to stay youthful, you go and take those souls.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
We won't say it. We won't tell.
Yeah. And it's always fun to see John Cusack and Joan Cusack playing off against each other. I think like the scenes that they were in together were pretty great. I mean, because they obviously have a real rapport, being brother and sister, and
Yeah,
like
yeah.
you were talking about the rapid fire dialogue before. They are really rapid fire when they're playing off each other. They're just ba 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 ba. I mean,
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like somebody like Dan Aykroyd. I mean, he's Mr. Rapid Fire.
that's
That's
true.
like
That's true.
that's like his bread and butter. But to see John and Joan just do it as quickly, that rapid fire, ba 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 ba,
Right.
it's pretty impressive. I
Yeah.
will say that something positive about this movie. I will say
Yeah, and we don't we don't see Dan Aykroyd like really directly interacting with the cast at all. We just have John Cusack talks to him a few times on like a video phone setup
Yeah,
thing.
yeah. Like
And
he's not in the same like scene with anybody. Like like you
right,
said, like he's on a video call. Like I mean, he's basically like the Dick Cheney of. He's playing a Dick
yeah,
Cheney type
yeah.
character.
And the first scene we see Dan Aykroyd, he's taking a call. He is sitting on a toilet.
Yes.
His pants are down, and he's doing his business. We don't, it doesn't get more explicit than that. Thankfully the shirt is untucked and covers up a multitude of sins.
Yes.
But
That's what you call it.
I don't know.
My
Yeah,
multitude of sins.
yeah.
But yeah, he's sitting on the toilet. He's got a growler the size of a cane frog.
That is how he phrased it. Yes,
Yes. Woo!
yes.
Ooh. Oh yeah,
Um,
there's that scene there. Then he's done
yeah,
another scene like later on in the movie where he's doing like a video presentation during the wedding, and then at the very end he's giving an interview at the very last scene, like doing,
yeah.
on like an on camera interview. So
So he
he's never in a scene with anybody. It's
right.
all like he does it all like via satellite.
Yeah, you feel like Dan Aykroyd just shot this over a weekend. He went into a studio somewhere. If it was a more recent movie, I'd say he was zoomed in, but we were Zoom wasn't a thing quite yet in 2008. So,
Not yet.
but yeah, Dan Aykroyd's just there, and he does well with what he has.
He does. He does okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, all right, but yeah, that's the only positive thing I could say. But yeah, I mean, this movie that was it. He does well with what he has. I mean, it's just this movie is just like really kind of. I know I've said it before, but I can't say it enough. Like it really kind of forces its message down your throat, but I don't know.
Uh-huh.
I don't quite know what the message is, and then the story kind of takes a back seat to the message. I mean, you could say, I mean, Spike Lee has kind of been guilty of that in some of his movies too, but here
Uh-huh.
it's definitely more message first, story later.
Story
Uh,
a distant second.
yeah, very
Yeah,
much
and
so.
I couldn't. Yeah, I mean, we have Brian Hauser, John Cusack's character. He develops this sort of uh, paternal interest in Yannicka, baby. Yeah, she's kind of a train wreck. Um,
Yeah, she's marrying a guy that like is a piece of garbage and like kind
mhm.
of hits her. Not hit her, but like is trash. And
Yeah.
he also has like a whole entourage of dudes.
Hmm.
One of them kind of looks like John Ralphio from Parks and Rec.
Yeah, Ben Schwartz. I was like, when he came up, I was like, is that Ben Schwartz? And yeah, I looked up the cast, and yeah, no, it's not Ben Schwartz, but it's a guy
No,
who looks a lot like Ben Schwartz.
it's like the Aldi version of Ben Schwartz,
Yeah, yeah. Um,
but the Ben Schwartz knockoff.
because even though, like, judging from the names of a lot of the cast, we have a lot of folks from the Middle East in this cast, but it still looks like a lot of white people dressing up.
Yeah, hmm, that was
And
oof.
yeah, so I don't, because honestly, if you asked me cold or you and said like, are there a lot of real Middle Eastern people in this movie? I would have said no. It didn't look like there are, but judging from the cast names, yeah, I guess they are. They are.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah. It was hmm, it was interesting.
it's weird. I don't know what to think.
Yeah. Oh, and also there was something like I didn't even realize it till towards the end of the movie, but
Yeah,
Hauser, John Cusack character, has this sort of AI he talks to, like an Alexa, that's in his
yeah.
car and it's on the
Guide
airplane.
star Jerry. Yes.
Yeah, Guide Star Jerry, and apparently I didn't know the voice of that was Montel Williams. Apparently, according to
Yeah.
IMDb, I was like,
Yeah.
what a random person to get for your Montel Williams,
Yeah.
huh?
I'm
All
not
right.
Montel Williams. You do not lie to me like I'm Montel Williams.
God. Like Montel, wow.
I
When I
see. I'm just
discovered
a cop in the on deck circle. You want to? I'm Montel Williams. You want to talk to Larry King?
that, well, where's
I'm
that
sorry.
from?
I went into John Munch in the first episode of Homicide. That's what I
Oh,
think when I hear the name Montel Williams.
of course. Okay,
That's one for all you Homicide Life on the Street fans out there.
that's right.
Both of
Oh,
you.
it's, yes, Yeah, both the two of you.
Yeah, but
Absolutely.
yeah, it's a little unclear. Like, is he supposed to be an AI thing, or is he connecting to an actual person? And the movie's a little unclear on that, I thought.
Yeah, I thought he was an AI, but yeah, there are times where it does sound like it could be an actual person he's just reaching out.
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah, I thought it was a real person, but no, I guess it was supposed to be a an AI thing like OnStar or Alexa or something.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Which again, like the movie's like sort of vaguely in the future, I guess, because they have some tech that is still in our future, but it's weird.
It's very weird. It's
It's an
so
oddish movie.
yeah.
Yeah, if I'd seen this movie before, I don't know if I would have picked it for the podcast. But I just thought like, oh, hey, this is cool. It's like a comedy, and it's sort of a de facto sequel to Gross Point Blank, and it's got Joan Cusack, and Dan Aykroyd in it. This might be fun to do like the week after Gross Point Blank.
Oh, you think?
Yeah, but yeah, nowhere near as fun as a movie as Gross Point Blank. You know, no fun 1980s hits in this one.
Yeah, it's just it just kind of has a message. What that message is, I'm not quite. It kind of reminded me of, like when like you were in college and you first start reading about, the wars and
Yeah,
like Chomsky or whatever, and you kind of
yeah,
have all these kind of half-formed thoughts on all these
yeah,
things, but you don't quite articulate it quite right because you're still in college and you just learned this stuff. That's what this kind of felt to me. Like it has a bunch of ideas, but it's not quite articulating it correctly. You know what I mean?
right.
It's like when you're a freshman in college, you're like, Chomsky said something about the 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 id of man, and
Yeah,
that's how this whole movie kind of comes off to me.
yeah. It's a lot of information you've half absorbed, and I felt like I was half absorbing things as an audience member. So,
Yeah,
and again, I don't know if this is my fault or the movies. Maybe half and half. I'll
I,
be fair
I'm
and say half and half.
yeah, I'm gonna blame the movie because it's never my fault. But
Okay,
but yeah,
all
but
right.
yes, but there were things like in the flashback, like this one scene kind of befuddled me where he was having a flashback about quitting to his boss, Ben
Right.
Kingsley, and they
Yeah.
met up at this Roman era theme park. And there's no real reason for them to meet up in this rundown Roman era theme park, except that John Cusack has a point to make about the Roman era and how it is
Yeah.
famous. But I but yeah, like again, that's something like there's no reason for them to meet at this Roman era theme park, but only just to set up this larger point he wants to make now about the Roman era and modern times type of thing. But it doesn't help the story at all, and it just kind of washes over me.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think there's definitely a satirical point to be made in like maybe comparing the U.S. to like the dying days of the Roman Empire. I think you could definitely make a good satirical point about that. This wasn't it.
Yeah, it wasn't. And then there were also, I think maybe they kind of knew that, so maybe they were trying to also try to do this thing where they try to do this political satire, but then they also try to kind of work in this sort of heartfelt story about this hitman who tried to leave the life, and
Right.
and then there's a scene where we find out he had a wife who was killed, he had a
Yeah.
daughter that was taken,
Right.
and then
And he's a man with a particular set of skills.
of course, exactly. I
Um,
see what you did there.
yeah, he's got this tragic backstory, and yeah. By the way, the wife that we see in the flashback looks nothing like Minnie Driver. She's blonde. Um,
Oh, what happened? I
so
thought they would
so
make it work.
there goes the whole sequel idea.
Love is
Um,
dead. Love is dead.
so
Yeah, and
yeah,
then they also try to sort of interject some heart where Hauser kind of, like you said, has like a paternal uh, instinct over Yannicka. Like he walks in
right,
one day and he sees her singing a very lovely song and an acoustic guitar, and she confides in him that like she feels like she doesn't belong here. She feels like an alien, and she feels she's kind of vulnerable around him. And
hmm
I don't know. So did you see that twist coming at the end from this? point, or
Well, yeah, the big twist we find out is that Yannicka is actually Hauser's long lost daughter, Kara or Kara. I forget how they pronounce it, but it's spelled like Kara, so I'm just going to say Kara.
Kara?
Whatever. um, I don't know if I saw it coming, but I can't say that when it came around, it surprised me a great deal.
Okay, I sort of
So
saw it coming. Like, I mean,
yeah.
part of me was thinking, all right, well, all right, so she feels like she doesn't belong here, and he lost a daughter that was taken. I wonder if they're gonna go old
Hmm.
boy here, and like she's the daughter, but then no, that wouldn't make sense because she has like a Middle Eastern accent, and she's
Yeah.
this big pop star, and she even said that her dad
But
was
she's
coming.
played by Hilary Duff, so she's obviously white. So,
Yeah,
which is which was another thing that was kind of confusing. I was like, am I supposed to think she's from this part of the world
I
or not? Because like in the movies, like her hair is dyed darker. It's like dark hair with like some purple-ish streaks to it, and
yeah. And like
yeah,
I mean,
it's
there is
weird.
that sort of sepia tint to the movie, so
Hmm.
maybe they were trying to. I don't know. I don't know,
I don't
man.
know. It wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't as surprising as the movie thought it was. I think.
Yeah, it wasn't the big, I see dead
I,
people.
I I certainly wasn't like, oh my god. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, it's like all
But
right, yeah,
but by
okay.
that point, I wasn't terribly engaged in the movie to begin with. So I don't think there would have been anything this movie could have done that would make me go, oh, gasp. I cannot believe this startling turn of events.
Yeah, it was definitely. I don't know. Yeah, it was weird because, like, oh, well, as you said, uh, as it turns out that Yannicka is her daughter because
Is his daughter?
is his daughter because his old boss Walken, who he thought he killed in this big flashback. Like at one point,
Right. We see John Cusack strangling him with a chain.
yeah, and they're fighting in the back of a garbage truck, inside a garbage truck, and he
Yeah.
like crushes him in the garbage truck. So we
Yeah.
think he's dead, but surprise, but
But he
he's
comes back and he's the guy that has been giving Hauser his orders through the whole movie. This character called the Viceroy is just
yes,
communicating through like a vid screen or phones, and then like Cusack he's like smashes through this vid screen and the Viceroy is right behind the screen. I'm like, why do you need to be there on the premises? I don't get that.
yeah, that's not how electronics work. You can
Yeah,
just you can be in a different place.
you
Like
could be in a whole different country, and I don't see why you're not. That's kind
yeah,
of stupid.
yeah. I mean, John and I, we're recording this podcast right now. We're not in the same room.
We are not. We are not. We are going through the wonders of the internet.
Yeah, through the system of tubes.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we don't even have a video hookup right now. We are just relying on the sound of each other's voices. And
Yes.
if, I mean, I could take a chair and smash through a wall right now, I would not see Darren behind that wall.
No, you would see an angry landlord asking, like, saying, "Who's going to pay for this wall?" That's
Yeah,
just misery.
yeah. And I'd be like, no.
I gotta go.
Yeah. So, and yeah, but Walken, Ben Kingsley's character, he's like severely injured from Cusack's attempt on his life. It's like in that James Bond movie at the beginning of, I think, For Your Eyes Only, where we see this bald guy in a wheelchair who's trying to kill James Bond with a helicopter, and it's Blofeld, but it's not really Blofeld because they legally can't say it's Blofeld because somebody else has the rights to Blofeld, and
Mm.
Bond scoops him up with a helicopter and dumps him down a smokestack. And the guy tries to bargain with James Bond. He's like, "I'll buy you a delicatessen in stainless steel," and it makes no sense whatsoever. It's kind of like that.
Wow, that's a deep cut.
That's
That is a reference.
kind of like it. Well, that's one for all the James Bond fans out there.
Ba-da.
Homicide fans, James Bond fans, I got you. I
Yeah.
see you.
John Trumbull got y'all, son.
I got you.
Nice.
So yeah, yeah, it's weird.
Yeah,
It,
I will. I'll say another nice thing. So there is a scene where Hauser sets up an interview with Natalie to interview Yannicka to sort of, I guess, humanize her in people's eyes because
Right.
at this point we found out that Yannicka is like the directors of Yannicka and the wedding. They already shot the wedding night and they're gonna sell it as a porno, and that got out through the through the internet and the news cycle. The
Right.
of course, on the pulse of the news, the McLaughlin Group, and
John McLaughlin is playing himself in this movie, which is it's kind of weird.
kinda,
Yeah.
I was like, McLaughlin's in this thing.
Yeah. Yeah. It's John McLaughlin and Montel Williams. Not expecting either one of them in this movie.
Nope, nope. So so to make her to repair her image, Natalie's going to interview Yannicka, and so they do it in this abandoned house that I guess doesn't belong to anybody, and then the three of them kind of start to bond a little bit,
Yeah.
and then, they actually get to like each other, and then Yannicka.
That's when Cusack confesses his whole sad backstory. Is like, oh,
Yeah.
I have a dead wife and a missing child, and I wonder where that child is. I never ever found her again.
I wonder.
Stares meaningfully at Hilary Duff.
Yeah, and then Yannicka's fiance's entourage, fake Ben Schwartz.
Oh yeah.
Oh, nice! I love
Sorry.
it. No,
That's for you, Entourage fans.
that's right. Entourage fans, James Bond fans,
Homicide Life on the Street fans. Yeah. I'm just
Yeah.
going to give a shout out to every fandom I can think of because I don't find this movie all that interesting.
No, absolutely. Yeah, and so then fake Ben Schwartz and the homies, they go up to beat up Hauser because I think they were going to pin the whole porno tape release on him. So
Oh, okay. I didn't get that, but all right.
yeah, they were going to frame him and he was going to be the fall guy. But
All right.
but the wedding was still going to go
Well,
on.
I'm not the kind to kiss and tell, but I've been seen with Farrah.
The fall guy,
The fall guy.
James Bond,
Yes.
Entourage,
Yes.
and Homicide Life on the Streets.
Yes. That is what the tally is at now. Yes.
Wow. Okay. So they were all going to go beat up Hauser, but of course, my man John Cusack, he's quick with it. He knows his kickboxing skills, so we get this pretty good action scene where
It is a cool fight scene with John Cusack, and I'm looking at this and I'm just like, it's kind of funny because like John Cusack, he does have these moves. You don't think of him as being like an action guy, but he can do this stuff because he's been studying the kickboxing and stuff since Say Anything. I'm assuming.
yeah,
It's kind of funny that he's never had an interest in doing like a full blown action film where he was like the star.
Yeah, I think he could pull it off. Like he's charming enough. He's got the looks.
Yeah.
Like he could have been. I mean, maybe not like a Van Damme or nothing, but like he could have done something like an action comedy. Like
Yeah, I don't think he was ever interested in going in that direction. I mean, I think the closest he's done was he did Con Air, but he didn't do much action stuff in Con Air, did he? He was just kind of a supporting guy, right?
Yeah, like he was kind of just like the dude in a suit. But
Right.
I don't know. Yeah, he could fuck some shit up. I don't know why he didn't do more of that.
I don't know. He doesn't. John Cusack. He doesn't seem to do all that many paycheck roles.
Yeah,
Or I guess if he's doing a paycheck role, he'll do a romantic comedy or something.
yeah, I guess. Yeah, that's true. Like
He does like a Serendipity or a Must Love Dogs or something like that. And I'm not saying this is a criticism. That's just how he does his career. Maybe because like those are easier and you can shoot them in less time than a big action thing like a Die Hard or whatever.
yeah, his things are kind of all over the place. He'll do like we said, like a Con Air, and then do Serendipity. Then he'll do like Love and Mercy, and then he'll do
Yeah.
like 2012, the action movie at the end of the world.
Yeah, that was a Roland Emmerich thing. I never saw that, so I don't know how actiony that got. It seemed like more of a disaster movie than anything. But
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true.
I don't know if John Cusack fucks anybody's shit up in that.
Okay. Well, John Cusack, call in. Let us know why won't you fuck up shit in the movies
Yeah.
anymore.
Wait, he's gonna want to fuck our shit up after he hears
Right.
this.
Oh god.
He's gonna be like, you didn't like War Incorporated? I co-wrote that movie. I'm gonna fuck these guys up.
I'm gonna fuck your shit up.
Yeah.
Oh no!
We still love you, John Cusack.
We do, we love you.
We
We
do.
say it out of love, but below.
We love the high fidelity. We love the Gross Point Blank. We love the
Yes.
Say Anything. We love what are I celebrate your entire body of work, John Cusack.
Here, here. I celebrate your entire body.
Wow. Okay. You
So,
heard it here first, folks.
I've been drinking. So, next up, yeah, then we have.
It is 3:33 in the afternoon, just for
I,
the record.
I said what I said. I
Okay.
said what I said.
All right.
Yeah. So then, of course, it comes to the big climax, which is they still go on with the wedding, and I don't know, like it gets kind of like muddied and convoluted here at this point. I
Oh,
mean,
now it gets muddy and
I mean,
convoluted.
it's been muddy and convoluted.
Muddy and convoluted has been our mantra for this episode, I think.
Yeah, because like at this point, like Hauser says, "All right, I'm here to do the job to kill Omar Sharif, so I'm going to do it." And then he sends,
And that's weird. The character's name is Omar Sharif.
yeah,
That's kind of odd.
kinda,
Yeah.
just kinda.
I don't know what that's about.
I,
Is it some sort of in-joke thing that I did? I don't know.
it's not clear. Nothing is clear here.
So often I'm not really getting what the movie is trying to say or what. Yeah, why is this guy named Omar Sharif?
I don't know. Yeah, like everybody else has
Yeah.
these.
The Dr. Zhivago guy, the guy from Lawrence of Arabia. He's
Yeah,
just named Omar Sharif. I mean, I guess that's possible, but it seems kind of unlikely in 2008 that somebody would be named Omar Sharif when there is
yeah,
a famous actor by that name. But
yeah,
okay.
yeah. I mean, you give everybody else goofy fake names like Ook Mife and Ook Yufe, but you
Yeah.
call him Omar Sharif. That's what are you trying to
It's
say?
just odd. It's just odd. I don't know if I'm saying you shouldn't have done that, but it's just like I don't get why you did that.
Yeah, no,
So
I agree. I agree. So yeah, so he sends an email to him as Natalie because there was a scene earlier where she meets up with Natalie, and of course it's Marissa Tomei, so of course he has the hots for her. So he sends an email as Natalie, say, "Hey, meet me in this hotel room, and for
right, and
for,
it's in the hotel room that Anderson Cooper is not going to occupy because he can't make it to the wedding for reasons I forget now.
right."
We have mentions of Anderson Cooper and Katie Couric in this movie. Neither one makes a cameo, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think they knew.
We just have to settle for John McLaughlin and the
Yeah.
voice of Montel Williams.
Yes, John McLaughlin, the voice of the youth.
Yeah.
All the kids.
Were you picturing Dana Carvey as John McLaughlin when
Issue
John
5!
McLaughlin was on the screen? Yeah.
Issue 5!
You both had Special K with banana.
Eleanor, gee, I think you're Swellinor.
Oh, classic sketch.
See, there's the laughter. Now
Yeah.
there's the laughter.
Yeah.
But yeah, then we also find out that Marissa Tomei's character Natalie was kidnapped by the
Yeah.
Liberation Army, and
Yeah.
they find out that they'll be executed unless Tamerlane doesn't leave the country. So Hauser goes off to find her while the wedding pageantry thing goes off. Then he goes off into this war zone where she's being kept, and goes in and saves her. Finds out that the kidnappers are the directors from Yannika's wedding, and yeah, then we get this whole scene where they're running through a war zone trying to get back home to safety, because I think when they came back out to the Hummer that he came in there for, like some kids set it on fire or something. And
Cusack's trying to track down Natalie, the Marissa Tomei character, and the local kids are like, "Hey, do you have any candy to bribe us with?" And he's like, "No, I don't have any candy, but I'll give you some cash, and you can tell me where she is." And they point her out, and then after he rescues Marissa Tomei, they come out, his Humvee's on fire, and they're like, "You should have given us candy."
Trick or treat.
Wah, wah.
Trick or treat. Smell my feet.
Yeah. Yeah, so we get some running away from explosions towards the end.
Yeah, and
That's all right.
Yeah,
it's fine. I was very detached from the movie by this point. So
yeah. No, I get it. It's like, I mean, and it sucks because like you can see this is where most of the budget went to, because there's all these explosions. There's
yeah,
these like tanks with like logos and slogans of corporations on the side,
yeah,
and like
yeah,
innocent civilians getting shot up. Like
Yeah.
this was probably the scene where Cusack was like, "All right, see now they're gonna see the ugly face of war. This is where the big message come through. This is where we hit them." And like
Hmm.
it didn't quite have the impact like I feel like it was going for,
Hmm.
because yeah, it just seems like kind of muddled and convoluted, and I don't know, the way it was shot. I wasn't a huge fan of. I'll admit that too.
Yeah, you had a lot of problems with how it was shot.
It,
It's sounding like.
yeah, I mean, I know it was probably going for like a raw, gritty, grimy look, but it just, I don't know. It looked too. I don't know. Maybe it looked too grimy, or it looked too ugly. But maybe that's what they were going for.
Hmm.
They wanted it to look ugly and
Yeah.
like war is ugly, man. Like, but
Yeah.
it just, uh, I don't know, wasn't a fan of
I
the
don't
way it
know.
was shot.
I just had trouble. I had trouble following the plot. Um, and you can only get so into a movie if you're not entirely understanding the plot. You're just sort of like, okay, wait, what's going on? Why is this happening? Who is this
Right.
happening to? Who is this person again?
All right, yeah. Well, where did it lose you? Where did you start?
Pretty early on, I think 15 or 20 minutes in, I was like, oh, I'm not enjoying this too much. It hasn't really caught me up in it yet, and yeah, by like 45 minutes in, I was like, okay, well, I'm just gonna slog through this thing. Honestly, if I hadn't been watching it for the podcast, I might have just turned it off. I don't know.
Yeah, I could get that.
I mean,
It was,
I wasn't hating it. I wasn't like, oh, why am I watching this? But I was just like, this just really isn't doing it for me.
yeah, it just, I don't know. Yeah, and like again, like it tries to tug on your heartstrings. I think it kind of knows that there was a lot. It was trying to say a lot. So, like I said, it's trying to go for the emotionality. Like when Hauser decides not to kill Omar Sharif at the last minute, and
Right.
decides to let him go, and says, "Yeah, I'm not going to kill you, but
Because
somebody else will try
he's
to."
either discovered a new love of life or he's in love with that guy's daughter.
There it is. There it
Yeah,
is. There it is. And
that's for you, Gross Point Blank fans.
Gross Point Blank, Homicide: Life on the Street, The Fall Guy.
Hmm.
Fuck. What was the other ones?
For
Uh,
your eyes only.
for Your Eyes Only. I already forgot. Yeah, I should write these down.
I think that's about everything. That's all I can remember.
Partridge in a Pear Tree.
Sure.
But yeah, and then after that, that's where we get the big confrontation scene where Hauser goes to his viceroy.
Entourage. That was the other one.
Entourage. Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he goes see the viceroy. He throws his briefcase through the computer screen, like
Yeah.
1984 style. Totally shatters. We see Ben Kingsley in a wheelchair with a back brace,
Yeah.
and yeah, just
And
there's
I would have loved it if John Cusack had just been like the guy in the Ultimart and like, why are you here? Why are you here? Because again, Ben Kingsley does not need to be there.
he really doesn't.
You can give him orders from anywhere, anywhere in the world. We had this technology in 2008 or in whatever future era this movie takes place in. I don't
Very
know. It's
yeah.
weird.
Yeah, very much. But then, like, he kind of goes off on this huge ass wordy diatribe about America and what he's done about like how he had his wife killed and kidnapped
Yeah.
his daughter. I'm still, and then of course that's where he tells him that Yannicka is his daughter. I'm not sure, like, what was his big plan to like get. I guess this was all done for revenge. It's
Yeah,
like
I think so. I think it was just revenge.
like
Um,
like I'll kidnap your daughter and bring her to the Middle East and make her a huge pop star and
yeah.
have her marry this.
And there's like a scene earlier on in the film where like Yannicka is sort of trying to seduce Hauser, Cusack's character,
Yeah,
where and we don't when we have the revelation that she's actually his daughter, we don't really go back to that at all where it's like, "Oh my god, I could have easily slept with her."
yeah.
Or
They don't.
anything. Like you said, they could have gone more old boy with it, but
Yeah. Oof. Oh Lord, that movie.
spoilers for old boy, I guess.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. Um,
Yikes, that movie. Ooh, oh boy. But yeah, it just like at this point, it wasn't as shocking as a reveal as more if it was confusing. I was just like, huh?
yeah,
Like, all right, I guess.
yeah. Yeah.
It was very. It was so strange. And then we have Hauser break up the wedding. He puts hot sauce in
Ben
Ben Kingsley's
Kingsley's eyes.
eyes. You
Yeah.
know,
And I'm
yep.
like, is that why he's been chugging hot sauce for the entire movie? Is that what, just so we had this bit at the end where he puts hot sauce in? Because, Ben Kingsley he can't move his arms or anything. So,
Yeah, he's yeah, but yeah, so he puts hot sauce in his eyes to stop him from moving, I guess.
yeah.
And then yeah, so then like he tells him he's his dad, tells Yannicka he's his dad. So then they all three of them, Hauser, Natalie, and Yannicka, shoot their way out of the country. And I think at this point, Ben Kingsley launches the tomahawk at the whole compound, at the whole country, which kind
Yeah.
of sets off another war. But then the three of them escape in an airplane, and
But we see like a Tomahawk missile heading towards the airplane.
oh right, yes, at the very end, there's like a missile headed towards
Yeah.
the airplane. But then another tomahawk missile blows up like the Popeyes that the underground bunker was in, which is this thing was a mess. This film was such a mess.
It's just an odd film. And yeah, I didn't really get what they were going for. The trailer made it look much better than this. The trailer, I watched the trailer a couple of days ago, and I was like, oh, okay, this looks like it could be kind of fun, and that was kind of why I said, like, well, yeah, let's do War Incorporated, because I mean, it looks different from Grosse Point Blank, but it looks like it could be fun. They did cut a good trailer out of this.
It is different. It's very different.
Yeah,
But yeah, it's just befuddling how odd it is. It's again, like I mean, I know I've
so,
said it before, but yeah, it's trying to say a lot of things and
none of them successfully.
none of them successfully. Yes, that's pretty.
Yeah, it's a perplexing movie. It's just like, okay, all right,
Yeah,
yeah.
but
Um,
that's the episode, guys. War Incorporated.
That's
I mean, it's
War Incorporated. See it if you're a big John Cusack fan, I guess.
yeah. If you're a Cusack completist, you can
Yeah,
go ahead and watch that.
yeah.
What you gonna
Go
say?
ahead,
No, I was gonna
Roger
say
Ebert.
Roger Ebert gave the film 2 stars out of 4, describing the film as brave and ambitious, but chaotic attempt at political satire.
Yep,
He
I would agree. I would agree.
Yeah, he praises Cusack for bravery and determination to make a film that is uncompromising and sets out to make a statement. But Ebert concedes he wanted to like the film more than he could.
Yeah, I'm pretty much with Roger on this one.
You know.
I just looked it up. Marissa Tomei did this the same year that she did The Wrestler.
Oh
So
shit! Really?
highs and lows. Yeah, but that Wrestler was 2008.
Whoa!
Yeah,
Wow, life comes at you fast.
yeah. Well, this one came out what kind of late-ish in the year, I think you said, right?
I believe no. This was April or May, if I'm not
Oh
mistaken.
yeah, okay, yeah. It was released at two theaters on May 23rd, 2008. Grossed an estimated 36,600 on those two theaters opening weekend. The film went on to open in a further 30 theaters across the United States. It's tough to say further 30 theaters all in a row. It was second in largest per theater gross behind Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. It closed on August 7th, 2008, without a wide release, grossing only 580,862 domestically in fewer than 40 theaters across the United States and Canada. So didn't have a big
Yeah,
gross at all.
yeah, and Ben Kingsley got a Razzie nomination for Worst Supporting Actor, which that's a little harsh, but
Yeah, I don't.
mm.
Hmm.
but it was definitely an experience. I'll give it that.
It is a movie. It is a movie. It's yep.
Right. Okay. That's
It is a movie that we have seen, and we
yes,
have now talked about it for approximately an hour.
yes.
Therefore, our contractual obligation is fulfilled. Yes,
Done,
done. Wiping
done.
my hands of it.
Yes, done and done. Good job, us.
Done and done. So if you feel like watching War Incorporated, don't watch Grosse Point Blank instead.
Yeah, absolutely. Please do that.
I think that's my big takeaway from the last 2 weeks.
Yes, if you want to watch War Incorporated, watch another movie instead.
Yeah. Yeah, you can find better things to watch with pretty much all of these people in them.
Here, here.
Some even featuring a lot of these people together, like Gross Point Blank.
Yes, we cannot stress enough. Watch Gross Point Blank.
Yes,
Watch Gross
yes,
Point Blank, or The Fall Guy, or Entourage, or Homicide:
yes,
Life on the Streets, or
yes,
James Bond,
yes.
or I think that's it.
I think that's it. I don't know.
Okay. And yeah, that's the episode, guys. Thanks for listening, as always, to our little podcast. Actually,
Thanks
well,
for listening to our ramblings.
yes.
You had another thing that you wanted to talk about that you wanted to hit on this week. I understand.
Well, yeah. Just because a friend of the podcast, my good friend Joanna, she kind of reached out to me and wanted to know if we were because of the SAG after strike and WGA strike. She wanted to know if we were going to pause the podcast in solidarity. And I mean, that's something that I hadn't even thought about. But then I noticed that a
Hmm.
lot of people online, other podcasters and YouTube, reviewers and whatnot. A few of them were, and a few of them weren't. I think because I believe some of them were kind of working that weird circle of like they sort of are part of SAG and sort of not, and like I think they've been told like if they do something where they talk about an upcoming movie, it could be seen as scab work, and so
Well,
like
yeah,
right.
my understanding is that because I both for this podcast and for uh, in my writing career, I do try to interview a fair amount of actors, and my understanding now is that like actors, they are allowed to talk about like past projects because their obligations to those are complete, but they can't really talk about current or upcoming projects because that is seen as promoting them, and that would be scab work, which I totally get
Okay.
and totally respect. So I think if like say we had like a current cast member of SNL on here, they probably couldn't talk about SNL much.
Right, right. So,
So
yeah. So then so she said, "Oh, you guys are going to pause the podcast in solidarity." Then I thought about it. I reached out to you and talked to you about it, and
mhm.
I think we kind of came to the conclusion that no, I think we're going to keeping on with the podcast because I think while we are, I would say we're content creators for sure, but I wouldn't say we're like influencers or anything. And like, I don't think anything we do on the podcast would like you know quantify as being scab work or hurt the SAG in any way. Like if we were doing something where we were talking about like a new movie, like the movie that just came out in the theaters, which we kind of were talking about. I'll you know pull the curtain back a little bit. We were kind of maybe talking about doing some movies that were in the theaters now that had SNL connections, like the new Spider-Verse movie,
Mhm.
Barbie, Strays. There was a trailer that just came out for the new Hercule Poirot movie.
Yeah, I know Tina Fey's in that, and I would like to talk about that movie sometime because I loved the first two Kenneth Branagh Hercule Poirot movies.
Okay.
I thought those were terrifically done. I just watched those like for the first time last year,
Oh, nice.
and they're gorgeous. What's the new one called? A Haunting in Venice, I think.
Yep, that's it.
Yeah, yeah. So I haven't watched that trailer yet, but I really want to see it, and I'm excited that Tina Fey is in it.
Yeah, it looks interesting because it looks really different from anything Tina Fey's done before. Like it's
Yeah, yeah. It would be neat to see her in a straight acting role. So yeah,
yeah.
I would love to talk about that movie at some point.
Okay.
I think that's opening in September sometime.
Yes, yes, it is.
Yeah. So
So
and hopefully by then the strike will be resolved.
right.
That would be nice.
Hopefully. Like, but yeah, like so, and also because yeah, we talk about mostly like old movies and stuff like that. So I don't.
Hmm.
I'm pretty sure we're safe from anything that would be considered harmful to the strike and it's the people striking right now because we've said on a podcast 100 times we stand behind the strikers, we stand behind the writers, stand behind the actors,
Hmm.
100%. And if you guys want to support the people on strike right now, there's a bunch of ways you could do it. Like I found out about the entertainmentcommunity.org, which is a fund set up for people who are working in the entertainment industry that are affected by the strike. Not just actors and writers, but crew members, people who are
Right.
props and costumes and camera and
Right, because I mean, if since production is suspended on most everything right now, I'm hearing like a few indie productions might be able to squeak through, like through a waiver thing, but that's kind of up in the air. But yeah, if the writers aren't working, the actors aren't working, production is basically shut down, and that means like anybody who's on a crew is not able to work right now either. So it's lean times going on all around, and the AMPTP, the Alliance of Motion Picture and Television Producers. So, yeah, from what I understand, the AMPTP, I mean, they have outright said, or somebody connected with them has outright said, yeah, we're just trying to make this strike go on as long as possible so that people will lose their houses, which is just, that's
Ugh,
like cartoon supervillain evil.
that is sinister.
And just like, fuck you forever, dude. You want people to be fucking homeless because you want your $1 million bonus to be because they want you to be paid slightly less so they can be paid a fair wage. I mean, that's just, it's fucking unconscionable.
Yeah, you can stick it right up your butthole,
Yeah.
fella.
I mean, just, I hate that. I hate that. And yeah.
Right.
So I hope that the writers and the actors get everything that they are looking for and more. If there's some, I mean, you never really get everything that you want in a strike, but I hope there's some way they can get everything they want and more.
Right. Because like I know some people like their viewpoint is, oh, why do we gotta, why all those rich actors making millions and millions of dollars? Oh,
Right,
and it's like, no, dude, that's like 1%. Like not everybody is The Rock. They're not all making The Rock money. They're not all making
right.
like the boatloads of cash. You think some of them are just like blue collar, hardworking actors that live in a 4-floor walk up with roommates, and they're just trying to get
I,
by on their craft.
Even if you're seeing somebody on TV or in movies on a regular basis, that does not mean that they are super rich.
Absolutely, yeah. You see somebody on TV, that don't mean they got a mansion. They could just
Right. They're in all likelihood still struggling and they're just working job to job. And if you're seeing them on a TV show or in a movie, that might be the only job that they have that year. And they have to pay for their living expenses. They also have to pay for their representative, their agents, their managers, their accountants, whatever. And then, taxes take a big chunk of that. So
yeah,
they will just get maybe a few $1,000s to live on. And it is a struggle. I mean, I've been out of work. I've been without a day job for quite a while now, and I know personally it is a fucking slog. It is a struggle, man.
it really
So
is.
yeah,
Yes,
my heart goes out to anyone who is in that situation. And if somebody wants to intentionally be like, oh yeah, let's just wait this out until they're all homeless and then they're ready to strike. First of all, it's the producers that are refusing to talk. They are refusing to negotiate right now. So yeah, it's
right,
not the writers and the actors who are doing this.
right, absolutely. So yeah, if you want to help out in any way, I would say just donate to one of the strike funds. You can go to
Hmm.
entertainmentcommunity.org and donate there. And another way, if you live in New York City or LA, you could just go down to the picket line strikes and like volunteer your time on the line. Like,
Yeah, you
yeah,
can you can march in solidarity with them. I'm sure they would love to have you.
yeah.
And
If you go to WGA.org or SAGAFTRA.org, like they have the schedules up about where they'll be and how what day and times. So
mhm.
just like sign up, go down there, march in solidarity. Donate some of your time and
Yeah,
yeah, help out.
and if you do that, be cool about it. You're not there to like network. You're not there to
Yeah, yeah,
sell your screenplay or get selfies or autographs or anything.
yeah. Exactly. Don't see it as like, oh hey, yeah, I'm here to help. By the way, I got this script that
Yeah,
I think it's fire. Can
yeah,
I give? Yeah, don't do that. Don't be that guy.
because you're not supposed to do that because
No,
that's basically scamming.
absolutely.
So yeah, so we're just gonna kind of keep on keeping on with the
Mm,
podcast and
that's right. Keep on
keep
trucking.
keep doing what we do, and we want to support all the striking creatives as much as we possibly can.
Here, here.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So
So that's the episode. Should we mention
Yeah.
what we're gonna do next week?
Um,
Or do you want to keep it vague and mysterious?
yeah, I think I'm going to keep it vague and mysterious right now. I don't want to positively commit ourselves to something because that's how you end up watching War Incorporated. Um, so yeah, we got an idea. We think we're going to do. We're working on possibly snagging a guest for it, and if we can't snag the guest, we might have to reevaluate if we're doing this or not. But we'll see. We'll figure out something fun to do.
We will.
It's, yeah, next week it's going to be my birthday show, so it's going to be something I enjoy. That is my main resolution.
Hooray!
So, yay!
Yay! And that's the episode. Thanks again for listening. As always, you could follow us on Twitter at SNL Nerds Show for as long as Twitter is still around. As always, you can
again evil billionaires.
Evil billionaires.
Yep.
Evil billionaires. Donate to our Patreon, Non-Productive.com. Give us some money, please. And as always, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Darren Credible, DARIN.
And you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Trumbull Comic, TRUMBULL, and the word comic. And yeah, we'll be back here next week with something cool and yeah. So until then, nerds out.
This has been a non-productive media presentation. Executive producer Frank Hablawi. This program and many others like it on the Non-Productive Network is distributed under a Creative Commons Attribution Non-Commercial No Derivatives license. Please share it, but ask before trying to change it or sell it. For more information, visit non-productive.com.